Good morning, everybody, and we are talking once again about a stock that we have discussed on the channel. I did notice a couple comments from you guys asking me to make an update video, so here we are. And the first thing I want to point out is, well, the stock is Tonix Pharmaceuticals. TNXP stock, TNXP is the ticker symbol, as you can see. And this is a company that it was a little bit less than 1 year ago, this stock went parabolic. Now, they've had the approval, they've had all the good news and everything, and I've made previous update videos after the news has come out. But the problem is the share price has not moved, right? In fact, the share price has gone down. And the share price currently for this company is lower than it has been since the news came out, right? What I mean is it was under 20 bucks a share and then went parabolic in anticipation of a filing coming out last December regarding the FDA approval, but it wasn't actually the official approval. So the stock went parabolic, came crashing down after it went on a 10x. And then after that, and here we are right now at under 20 bucks a share, which is the level it was trading at before all this, the approval and everything actually came to be. So what's interesting to me is that we have all this positive news that is now confirmed. It was anticipated, but now it's actually confirmed, and yet we're trading at a lower level than we were. So let's read through this real quick. Tonix Pharmaceuticals announces U.S. commercial availability of Tonmya, the HCl sublingual tablets as a first-in-class fibromyalgia treatment. Tonix Pharmaceuticals announced Tonmya is now commercially available for prescription in U.S. pharmacies as of November 17th, 2025. This was yesterday. Tonmya is presented as a first-in-class non-opioid, once-daily bedtime analgesic for adults with fibromyalgia and is the first FDA-approved fibromyalgia treatment in more than 15 years. We've talked about all that, right? We've talked about the fact that the fibromyalgia market has not seen a solution like Tonix Pharmaceuticals, Tonmya, in over 15 years. And so that really sets Tonix Pharmaceuticals apart in terms of the market that they are targeting. The FDA approved Tonmya on August 15th, 2025, based on 2 double-blind phase 3 trials, nearly 1,000 participants, showing a significant reduction in daily pain at 14 weeks and a higher percentage of achieving 30+% pain improvement. 3 phase 3 trials, 1,400 plus patients reported overall tolerability and listed common adverse events. So there it is, guys. Now, it's one thing to actually be approved for sale and marketing of the FDA. That gives it the green light to actually go out and start selling the drug. It's another thing to actually be available in U.S. pharmacies as of November 17th. So what does this mean going forward? Well, it means that the numbers, the sales, will start to show up on the income statement. You're going to see sales, you're going to see revenue increase, you're going to see all of these things increase as the drug actually hits the market. Because we got the approval in August, and now we're actually distributing the drug across different pharmacies across the U.S. So that's very good. Now, as far as any other news that came out, this just came out 5 hours ago. Is Tonix Pharmaceuticals a momentum play? For some reason, it's not working. But let's see where it's actually trading at right now. So Tonix, I made the most recent video I think I made, it was at like 20 bucks or just under 20 bucks a share. And I said, hey, look, it's under 20 bucks. It hasn't been this low in a while. Maybe it's a good time to, consider Tonix Pharmaceuticals based upon your risk tolerance and investing goals and everything. Now, this chart is a disaster. This is basically because they did a bunch of reverse splits to maintain their listing on the NASDAQ. That's not a risk at the moment because they're well above the $1 per share requirement. The market cap right now is $186 million. And the cash runway, from my understanding, they still have cash through the third quarter of, if I'm not mistaken, 2020. Let me see what their total cash, if it even comes up here. Because I know they have over $190 million in cash. That was as of September 30th, 2025. So what's interesting to me is as of this most recent number, September 30th, 2025, the most recent quarter, $190 million in cash, and yet you have a $186 million market cap. Something's not right. Something's not right. So when you're looking at assets alone, we're not even talking revenue. We're not talking anything else about this business. We are talking cash, just the cash alone is 190 million as of the last quarter. Now maybe that's gone down, right? That was in September. Now it's November, but still, I mean, the market cap right now is 186 million. So you're telling me the cash they have on hand is worth more on the balance sheet, right? So like, does that make sense? So they have just in one asset, their cash is more than their market cap combined, their total market capitalization as a company. To me, that's absolutely insane. Now, that obviously doesn't take into consideration any kind of liabilities they have on the balance sheet or anything else, but it also does not take into consideration the fact that they are now going to market and actually distributing their Tonmya, the first fibromyalgia drug in over 15 years, that is now going to be in pharmacies across the US. So they are expanding as we speak. They are growing their revenue as we speak because they're getting into all these pharmacies. They have the new drug pipeline that they have other pipelines as well, not just Tonmya, but this was probably the most landmark one. And then you have a market cap at 186 million with cash on hand of 190 million. So that's why when I look at this company, I'm thinking to myself, something's not right. You know, this is a company, like I said, that went on a 10x last year briefly. Now, this chart's not going to fully reflect that, but it was right about here, $61. It hit the pre-market at $1.94 from under, it was like 18 or 19 cents when I started buying the stock, and then it went up 10x basically within like 2 or 3 trading days. But the point is, you know, it's come down substantially since then. So when is it going to tick back up? I don't have the answer for you because the stock market is unpredictable, obviously. Nobody knows the answer. But what I will tell you is that I feel a lot more comfortable taking a risk down here under $20 than I would up here at 60 or 70 when it was going parabolic, you know, very briefly back last year. Especially now that the news has come out and it's been approved and they're now actually getting into the pharmacies for their Tonmya, the first fibromyalgia, you know, essentially the first fibromyalgia treatment in over 15 years that's come to market. So they basically have a monopoly on this market. Now, if you look at, I've mentioned the total fibromyalgia addressable market. And I think I've mentioned, I've thrown around the number 3 to 5 billion. Remember, this is just one of their drug pipelines. It's not, they have a lot of other drug pipelines. So the Tonmya is just one thing. Let's look on Finviz, see where the technicals are looking. You know, you can get a more detailed view on, where's Finviz? Huh. It's weird. Oh, wow, that's interesting. So I'm trying to get on Finviz, and it looks like there's an internal error through Cloudflare. That's interesting. I guess they're having some bugs. I don't know what's going on here, but okay. Anyway, we'll try that another day. Let's try TradingView. But just to show you, like with the technicals and the more technical detail of where this is trading at right now, where it has been trading. So as you can see, you know, we're getting down to these levels here, especially like if you get down to under $10 a share, that's really when I'd be like, okay, this is getting ridiculously cheap. But honestly, under $20 a share, I think is pretty cheap as well. And you could argue that like 15 right here is a good support level. The point is, like, it's pretty cheap. It really is. And I don't want to hear what you guys think as well. But when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at their cash on hand. I'm looking at their drug pipeline. I'm looking at not just the fibromyalgia, but the other drug pipelines they have, the other revenue they can potentially generate. I look at how this stock has really not moved despite all the good news, despite the fact that they have tons of cash balance higher than their market capitalization currently. You know, to me, that's just insane. So what I think about is like, how do we, from an investment perspective, like what's a good buy? And I'm going to continue to stand by the fact that under $20 a share is a good buy. That's my belief. Now, based upon your risk tolerance and investing goals, obviously biotech stocks are going to be risky. Biotech, you know, these types of companies definitely have a lot of risk. But with a lot of risk, you know, you have more volatility, you have, more risk, but more potential reward as well. That's the name of the game. So I would not be surprised to see this one do a 2x, 3x, or 4x at some point, maybe even a 5x or more. And I've mentioned even possibly doing another 10x. I mean, you would only be at a $2 billion market cap, but these things take time, right? So I would look at this as an investment under $20 a share, especially under 15. I think it's a pretty good deal. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I want to hear your thoughts. And with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you guys in the next one. Take care out there.